Welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Over Cocktails. My name is Brad Carrick. I'm here with our rock star Legally Vogue crew, as usual. Right. And this is episode 3 of Conversations Over Cocktails. And let's dive into it. What I wanted to do today is talk about something that's relevant to so many of our viewers and our readers, and that's getting started. So many people have so much talent out there, and they want to take this talent and say, I want to turn this into a business. How do I do it? And so today what I want to do is do a little experiment. Imagine we're at a bar, right?
Imagine.
And someone wants to have a conversation over a cocktail. And they come up to you.
And they're buying.
Yeah, and they are buying, of course. And they say, here's the deal. I'll buy you a cocktail, and I just want to hear a tip, a secret, one tidbit of information that you might give me to start a business. So let's assume for the minute, that this is someone you know, and they've got all the talent in the world, but they may not know how to turn this into a business. And I'll give an example, because this happens to me all the time, and someone will come up to me and say, I've got this project, I've been working on it, and I know their talent, and I say to them oftentimes the same thing, and it's counterintuitive maybe. Is this sort of your baby? This is your project? And they say, yes, it means so much to me, I really want to do it. And I say, well, if you want to start a business, it might be time for the baby to grow up. And that means, that means that the baby is not part of you anymore. Make this its own entity, right? And as a lawyer and as a business person, that means certain very important things. Maybe incorporate, maybe form an LLC. Maybe it's time that the baby becomes its own person and has some protection, so it can live on its own. Protect its intellectual property, create contracts so that you're not personally protecting it with your arms and holding it smothering it the whole time, but that it is a real thing. Apple didn't live in Steve and Steve's garage. It was let loose, and it lives amongst the rest of the world now. And it's time, if an artist has an idea that they want to turn into a project, that they set it loose. So now, Jill, coming up to you in the bar as a friend and says, it's time, I'll buy you a drink. What are some tips?
Well, the top one off that I will tell you right away is defining your target customer. I think it's so important and critical in fashion today to define who that person is. And what I like to do is I love to do a little project where you kind of create a story around that character. You define the demographics, which are the facts about the customer, and the psychographics, and you create and compile a story that's relevant and compelling for people to buy into. And then every time you create a marketing communications program, you go back to that target customer.
Something to direct towards.
Yeah, where
who you're selling
to go, and not just to yourself. Because a lot of designers will say, it's me, well, which is great. Well, then create that character, again, outside of yourself.
Yeah.
Jill, that's a great example. Could you give us maybe a specific of something where you've seen that implemented very well?
Kate Spade. It's a brand that has been around for a long time.
And have amazing marketing.
And she is and was a real person. She's no longer with the company, but all of her marketing communications were directed towards this character they created.
Sure.
And in all their advertising and social media, it would go back to that character.
And they're consistent, but it evolves.
It evolves over time. It grows up. Yes.
Well, I think we have enough content for today, and certainly enough to come back for another couple episodes. I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you guys for coming today and sharing a couple tips in exchange for the drinks.
You said you'd beat me if I didn't come.
Well, I have enough ideas for future episodes. But before we go to that, what are we drinking today?
Yeah, so today we've got a classic rum and coke. Simple, delicious, and nothing too complicated.
Cheers to that.
And guys, be sure to tune in for the next conversation of the cocktails. We look forward to it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, you guys.